Hi everyone, it's Allison Hawkstorm. Welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited about today's video. Today I'm going to be trying horses. For those of you who don't know, I do have a horse. I have a hunter jumper pony named Kian, and he is fantastic. But I'm looking for an eventer so that I can have both of them. So I can have a hunter jumper horse and an eventer. And so I decided to go looking. I found a couple of promising horses and I cannot wait to go see them. So I thought I would take you guys with me and you guys can give me your opinions on the horses that I look at and maybe I'll take them into consideration. So let's get going and let's go see the first horse. So this is the first horse that I'm trying. This is Secret and she is a 5-year-old thoroughbred mare. She was lightly raced. But not very much because she wasn't great at it. But she really enjoys cross country, and so she would make a fine eventing horse. She's a gorgeous dark bay. She was actually trailered in to Dundall Stables, which is where Kian is boarded and where I ride. So she was actually trailered in here, so I didn't have to go anywhere to try her. She's from another farm in Mistfall. I don't remember the name of it. So as you guys know, the Dundall stable is a bit of a ride away from our arena. It's about a 7-minute hack over there. So with her owner's permission, I decided to trail ride her over to the arena. Of course, I had professionals along because this is the first time I've ever ridden this horse and she is a young horse. So they came along with me just to make sure that everything was safe. This was a new part of Mistfall for this horse. She's never been here before, so she was a little bit spooky on the ride over, but I mean, that's to be expected from thoroughbreds, and especially young thoroughbreds. She wasn't bad, and her walk is a little bit bumpy, as you can probably tell, but she was okay on the ride over to the arena. Then we reached the arena and I walked her around the arena just a little bit more to get a feel for her on flat and even footing. Once she was in the arena, she kind of seemed to focus up and she seemed to get, oh, we're actually working now. We're not just having a fun trail ride. Then after she was warmed up, I asked her to trot. Her trot was super nice. It was smooth and a little bit floaty. Not super floaty, but I'm not looking for a hunter, so that doesn't really matter. She was surprisingly a little bit lazy for such a young horse, especially a thoroughbred, which surprised me, but her owner did say that she gets ridden very regularly, and she had been ridden like 2 days leading up to my ride on her, so I guess that makes sense. It was a little bit odd for me because obviously I was expecting a hot-headed young horse, but she was actually super chill. I asked her to do some circles, which she did quite nicely. And I asked her to canter, and she did pick up the wrong lead. She wanted to be on her left lead, which is normal for a thoroughbred. So that was definitely something that if I decided to buy her or lease her, that we'd have to work on, but she was perfect going left. She has a very bumpy gait. You can probably tell I'm really bouncing around in my saddle, but she has a nice canter. She was very collected. It was actually a little bit hard for me to get her moving forward, but that goes along with her being quiet, especially as she was at the trot. I prefer a forward horse, so she was a little bit quiet for me. And I had her do a half turn at the trot, and I managed to get her right lead. She was a little bit hard to keep on the lead. She wanted to swap off. Then her owner said that I could try her over some fences. So I asked her to trot a little wall, which she got super deep to and then over jumped, which doesn't really make sense, but that's all right. So I decided that maybe trotting jumps wasn't for her, so I asked her to canter. At first she did her really slow lopey canter, but then once she realized we were jumping, she easily sped up and went off my leg very willingly, which was nice. She definitely seems to really enjoy jumping. It seems like all the problems that I had earlier kind of vanished once we started popping over some fences. We decided to be done with that, and I thought I had a pretty good idea of this horse and how she goes, so I just walked her around and cooled her out. Overall, I'm not really sure if this is the horse for me, but she'll definitely make a nice eventer for someone who likes a bit more of a push ride in a horse. Alright, so this is the second horse that I tried. This is Phoenix. She is a 7-year-old Arabian mare. And she is from Fir Grove. I went to Fir Grove to try her, which is pretty close to Mistfall, so it wasn't too long of a drive. She's super beautiful. You can see she's such a gorgeous chestnut color, and she's a little bit more my size because I am pretty short and Arabians tend to be more petite. So she is a decent sized horse for me. So right when I got on her, I could tell she was really excited to be ridden. She was tossing her head, she was pawing when I was trying to adjust my stirrups and tighten my girth, and she definitely really wanted to go. Walking her around, she was very alert. Her ears were almost always up, and it was a little bit hard to get her to pay attention to me because she really wanted to look all around and see everything that was going on. But she has a gorgeous, smooth walk, and it's really, really comfortable. She is quite quick. She definitely was marching around the arena rather than walking, but that's okay. I like a more forward horse. So I asked her to trot, and her trot is absolutely beautiful. It's very floaty, and it's gorgeously collected. She moves beautifully. You can see she's kind of automatically tucking her head down into a frame without me even asking. You can see that she points her toes, and she just really likes to show off. I asked her to canter. Her canter was also quite smooth. It was a little bit like a rocking horse, but it wasn't bouncy. She definitely was not great at collecting. She really wanted to go, and she didn't want me to hold her stride back. She wanted to stretch out and run a little bit, which, I mean, it could be a problem. When I let her go and extend her stride, she went so much better. She tucked her head down and she just really stretched out her legs. Then it was time to pop her over a couple of jumps, so I tried my best to collect her canter because we were going to start with just a nice simple low jump, just so I could get the feel of how she jumps. She overjumped like crazy. She definitely was excited to be jumping. Then I popped her over some jumps that were definitely more like 3 feet high, and she definitely just flies over them. She definitely did not want to trot jumps. She got pretty awkward and kind of jumped me out of my tack a little bit when I asked her to. Just for fun, before the end of my ride, I popped her through this triple combination thing that they have set up, and she did really well. She adjusted her stride perfectly for the jumps. Then I was done riding Phoenix, but she was a really fun ride, and even if I don't end up buying or leasing her, she was definitely a great horse to have the chance to ride. So the last 2 horses that I tried today were actually both warm bloods located at Silverglade Equestrian Center. So it was nice because I could try 2 horses in one place. So this was the first boy that I tried at Silverglade Equestrian Center. This is Flair, and he is an 8-year-old Francais gelding. He's a super beautiful dappled flaxen chestnut color with a ton of chrome, and he is just super pretty. He's actually been showing as a hunter jumper for a couple of years with his current rider, but he's being sold as a hunter jumper or an eventing prospect. So I thought I would give him a try. So we took him down for the short trail ride down to Silverglade Equestrian Center's huge arena, and I got on and started walking him around. He was super responsive and listened to my cues really well. He collected and extended on commands very responsively. Then I asked him to trot, and I could definitely tell that I was riding a hunter. He moved super well, tucked his head down super nicely. His trot was really likable. It wasn't like super smooth, but it also wasn't bouncy, like some well-moving horses can be really bouncy. So his trot was pleasing. It wasn't too much of either. Then I cantered him, and his canter was super rocking horse-like, and it was pretty slow and pretty hunter-paced. If I was looking for a hunter, I think he would definitely be a top choice. He did have a super great lead change, and both of his leads seemed pretty strong. It didn't seem like he preferred one over the other. I had him move into more of a forward canter, which he did pretty willingly. He did take a good bit of leg to keep in that canter because he prefers to go slower, it seems like. And then we went into jumping. First, I trotted him over this low vertical. Then I let him canter it. It was probably about 2-3. Then I started popping him over some 3-foot to a meter stuff. Then we started jumping some stuff that was higher, about 3.6 to 3.9, and he definitely has the scope to do that height, and he jumped it really well. It seems to be pretty easy for him to jump this high. Last but certainly not least, this is the 4th horse that I tried out, also at Silverglade Equestrian Center. This is Devotee. He is a 5.5-year-old Trakehner Gelding. He hasn't had a ton of formal training. He's had the basics, but they have him as a show jumping / eventing prospect, and he certainly seems to have the personality for it. He was very curious, very affectionate, and definitely seems like a very outgoing horse. Even on the ground with him, he seemed super forward, alert, and excited, which is definitely what I'm looking for in an eventing horse. So we arrived down at the Equestrian Center's huge arena, and he was super curious. I asked him to walk, and he had a super smooth, relaxed walk. He was surprisingly well focused on me, especially for how young he is. He paid attention really well to what I asked him to do. He willingly shortened and extended his stride, and he definitely paid attention. He had a really nice floaty trot, and he moved quite well. He was definitely forward. I had to hold him back a little bit. He was a little forward even for me, and I like a forward horse, but he is young and he hasn't had a lot of training. He definitely wasn't out of control. He was just decently forward. His canter was super smooth and he was super responsive. He moved beautifully at the canter, and it definitely was a great canter for a jumping horse. Because he was so young, his lead change was just a little bit sloppy, but that's to be expected from a young horse. And honestly, for his age, I wasn't too unhappy with how he has it. He's definitely getting there with it. There were some times that he would speed up even more and get a little bit too quick, but that was okay with me. I just slowed him down. Then he was kind of like, oh, okay, we're not going that fast. All right then. Then we started popping him over some jumps, and he jumped super well. He tucked up his knees, super cute. I was definitely really pleasantly surprised with how much he used his back end, especially for a young horse that hasn't had much training. He just seems to have really great natural talent for jumping. I did take him over a couple of higher jumps, which he took like a pro. Honestly, I think it'd be really hard to tell that he was a young horse just by watching us jump because he jumps so well. I took him through this higher line, which he definitely got a little bit excited about and ended up chipping into the out jump. Then we did it again, and I really half-halted him between the jumps this time and didn't let him get all strung out, and it went much better. He was such a fun ride, and honestly, he's going to make such a nice horse when he's older. So those were the 4 horses that I tried today. I honestly really enjoyed riding them all. Make sure you guys let me know which one you think I should get. There'll be a poll in the upper right corner, or you can comment. I'm really excited to hopefully get one of these 4 lovely horses and work with them as an eventer. And I think all of them would make great horses. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!